When you listen, connect with the part of you that always feels like something important is missing from your life. This truth has never been told to you before, but now you're ready to hear it. Another name for this spiritual secret is a quantum code. It is so powerful that once you remember it, no one, nothing, or old fear will ever be able to control you again. This secret has been carefully kept hidden, not in a vault, but right in front of everyone as a story. Threat teacher and master of reality's rules told them exactly how to find it. This isn't just old history, though. This is about now in your life. I am going to show you how this one change in how you think will wake up your soul or true quantum self after a long sleep. It will seem like magic when it does. Everything in your life that feels broken, jumbled, or unclear will start to get back in order. Do you understand what I mean by emptiness? That feeling like you're pretending to be someone else. That's because our whole world is based on a consensus reality, which is a shared 3D program that is meant to make you forget how powerful you really are. They taught you to be a limited particle, but you are really a consciousness wave that goes on and on. And as long as you remember, you have to do what they say. You take in, you hide your light. That ends today. I'm going to show you where Thoth's key is hidden. But first, you need to know an important truth. You already have everything you've been desperately looking for on the outside. Love, peace, acceptance, and power stored as a quantum potential, waiting for you to observe it. I'll tell you where this master key to your memory is hidden at the end of this video. It's not in an old book. It's not on top of a mountain. You have it with you all the time, but you've never been taught to see it. Are you all set? Because once you see this, your reality will never go back to the way it was before. Please take a moment to subscribe before we start this trip. Think of this as your first act of commitment. You are making a stable, energetic connection to this frequency by subscribing. This lets the universe know that you are ready to receive these quantum calibrations and remember who you are. We now know that they have hidden the key that will free your consciousness. It's time to show them how they did it. The most amazing thing is that people from different civilizations across oceans and thousands of years talked about the same thing. For example, the mystics in India and the philosophers in Greece all talked about the same thing. How is that possible? The web wasn't there. There were no phones around. Still, these old masters all said the same thing. The soul does not awaken at birth. It goes to sleep very soundly. These days, birth is the start of everything. But in these old cultures, birth was the start of forgetting. According to what they taught, your soul or pure consciousness came from the quantum field. This was a place with endless possibilities and a sense of being linked to everything. There was not a split. The memory of the real limitless you was alive and moving. But something happens when they enter a physical body. It's like a veil is covering your view. This was what Thoth called a frequency drop, the infinite awareness that exists in superposition. All the possible outcomes at the same time all of a sudden collapses into a single fixed 3D timeline. You forget that you are the ocean and think that you are just a wave. In Egypt, Thoth said that the body wasn't the question. The problem is that you think you are only your body. In India, wise people call this Maya, which means the big lie of a solid separate world. Philosophers in ancient Greece said that the soul forgot its divine quantum beginning and got stuck in a prison of repetition. Can you see the pattern? The truth is the same in all cultures. But this wasn't written on the walls of public parks. It was thought of as quantum information, and it was quietly passed from master to disciple in temple chambers that only the most qualified people were allowed to enter. Why? They were afraid of this truth, because they knew it could be bad. If a normal person whose heart and mind were not ready got access to this information, their ego could take over. Instead of changing things, they might use it to feel better about themselves, to control others, or to escape reality. These masters knew that you can only use real wisdom and quantum power when your heart is clear. Just wanting to know isn't enough. You need to be ready to live out what you learn. That's why there was silence in the temples. People who came looking for quick answers or cool powers didn't get anything. But people who were able to stay quiet started to hear something. This is not a sound, but a frequency, a thought. What really took place in those temples? What could finally remind a soul that it is infinite when it is lost in the 3D illusion? Get ready because we're about to walk through those doors. It's not a ritual either, what you're about to see. It's such a deep quantum recalibration process that it changes your consciousness for good. This information was brought to you for a reason. If these words make you feel like you know this person, share this video right now. You are not just sending a link when you share this transmission. You are also sending a quantum signal through the collective field. This creates an energetic link to another soul that is vibrating at the same frequency and is ready to awaken. We now know that they have the key to your freedom hidden somewhere. Now is the time to show them what they did wrong. People from different civilizations, thousands of years ago, and across oceans talked about the same thing. That's pretty cool. That is, the Indian mystics and the Greek philosophers all talked about the same thing. How is that possible? There was no web. There were no phones around. They all said the same thing, though. The soul does not awaken at birth. A very good sleep is had by it. These days, everything starts with birth. In these old cultures, though, was the beginning of forgetting. They taught that the quantum field was where your soul or pure consciousness came from. This place felt like it was connected to everything and had endless possibilities. There was no split. It was alive and moving to remember the real, limitless you. But when they enter a body, something happens. The view is like being blocked by a veil. They called this a frequency drop. All the possible outcomes are at the same time in the infinite awareness that exists in the superposition. Suddenly, this awareness collapses into a single fixed 3D timeline. You think you are just a wave and forget that you are the ocean. They said in Egypt that it wasn't about the body. You believe you are only your body, which is wrong. The smart people in India called this Maya, which means the big lie of a real separate world. At that time, Greek philosophers said that the soul forgot its divine quantum beginning and got stuck in a prison of repetition. Are you able to see the pattern? The truth is the same everywhere. But this wasn't written on park walls. Some people thought of it as quantum information, and it was quietly passed from master to disciple in temple rooms that only the most qualified people could get into. Why? They were scared of the truth, because they knew it could be bad. Someone whose heart and mind were not ready could let their ego take over if they got this information. They may not change things, but instead use it to feel better about themselves, to control other people, or to escape reality. They knew that having a clear heart is the only way to use real wisdom and quantum power. It's not enough to just want to know. You need to be ready to use what you learn. That's why the temples were quiet. People who came hoping for quick answers or cool powers didn't get anything. But people who could keep quiet began to hear something. This is a frequency, not a sound, a thought. What did those temples really hold? When a soul is lost in the 3D illusion, what could finally remind it that it is infinite? Get ready because we're going to walk through those doors. What you're about to see is also not a ritual. It's such a deep process of quantum recalibration that it changes your mind for good. You were given this information for a reason. Now share this video with someone. If these words make you feel like you know them through the collective field, when you share this transmission, you send more than just a link. You send a quantum signal as well to connect with another soul that is vibrating at the same frequency and is the danger of a fractured awakening ready to awaken. Do this. That jump wasn't ready for everyone. This is TH's most important warning. It was very dangerous to cross that portal without being ready because you could break your system if you remember your infinite self before your mind and body are ready. Consider that the normal 3D consensus reality is that your nervous system can handle 110 volts. Imagine trying to channel 10,000 volts, the frequency of your full quantum self, through those same wires all at once. It would short-circuit the system. This is what happens when someone with a lot of unresolved trauma and fear suddenly connects with the vastness of their true nature. It might be too much. It may seem crazy. The biggest risk is to cross without planning to and get lost in the space between dimensions. You can't take back what you saw on the other side. What if you don't know how to put that information together, though? What if your mind tries to make sense of that feeling of endlessness by twisting it and turning it into a new, more complicated illusion instead of freedom? That's why the masters told everyone, do not seek this path just because you are interested. If you want power or a quick fix, don't walk this way. Your life. It was known to the Sharik as the lie of the self. It's also where most people give up. There is a chance that you will awaken before you are ready. This is the first real problem you need to solve. It's not a ghost. It's not a force from outside. There's a program running in your mind that you can't see. It was called The Lie of the Self by Thoth. Who would be brave enough to look themselves in the mirror and say they've been lying to themselves their whole lives? The wall is inside of you. It is everything you think you are put together. The trouble is that you were conditioned from the time you were born. It was planned for you. Your boss told you what to think about love, getting things done, failing, and yourself. You thought they were true not because you were weak, but because you never learned how to question the plan. I have a question for you. How often did you pause and observe your own thoughts today? How many times did you ask yourself, where did that thought come from? Most of the things you think every day are not your own ideas. They are neural pathways or automatic programs that have been used over and over again. They're like apps that run in the background of your mind and drain your energy and life force. According to quantum law, these programs are repeatedly collapsing the same old reality because they keep looking at it in the same old way. This is where the first real step on this path starts. It is not magical. The answer is clear, simple, and very hard. I want you to stop having those negative limiting thoughts the next time they come up. The ones that come up when you're tired, scared, or insecure. And I want you to ask yourself what thought followers. Is this thought really mine, or did they just put it in me? That one question is an act of quantum disentanglement, even though it sounds too easy. Finally, the observer you is able to see the program, the thought. There is no going back. Once you do this, you are no longer the program. When you understand that a lot of your emotional pain wasn't your own, but was taught to you, something breaks open. There is no destruction. That's freedom. Each thought you question breaks a chain. But watch out. The ego will fight back because it was made to protect this false identity. It will warn you that giving up these beliefs is risky. It will ask, who will you be without these thoughts? But the truth is that those thoughts were never you. They were just a false observer who made a reality for you that you didn't want. When the old stories end, there is a void and silence. This is where something starts to happen. That silence might feel scary at first. You quickly learn, though, that silence isn't empty. It's full. The quantum field is what it is. It is the place where something old can finally come back. What has been asleep since birth starts to wake up when the first illusion falls. It's not a new skill, a memory that is quiet, and the things that used to drive you seem small when it comes to the surface. The fights that used to drain you no longer do. The world is the same, but you're not because the way you look at things has changed. Let's break this pattern. I am the observer of my mind. Say it out loud in the comments below. Let typing these words be your first clear statement that you are free. You are sending a signal to the quantum, the single eye quantum perception, field that you are not the program anymore, but the consciousness that is watching it. Something amazing starts to happen as that memory starts to come back to you. You understand that you can see things other than with your eyes for the first time. Thoughts that are quiet and don't judge, analyze, or label. It just knows. It was known as the single eye by the... It's not a real eye, but a state of quantum perception. Before reality collapses into a hard fact, your consciousness is tuning into the wave function of reality. I know this is how you feel when you walk into a room. You feel like something is wrong for no reason. You might meet someone who says all the right things, but you just know they're not telling the truth. That's the one eye. The frequency of a situation is being picked up by your quantum self, which can sense the truth beyond what it looks like in 3D. But why do most of us not have much of this sense? We learn to believe only what we can see and measure. The data and logic told us to believe them and not listen to our deepest intuition or quantum precognition. This intuition has always been our true guide. The surface is what your eyes see. The single eye can pick up on the invisible name, your core frequency. to listen to the loud and unique signal of your soul. Something amazing starts to happen as that memory starts to come back to you. You understand that you can see things other than with your eyes for the first time. Thoughts that are quiet and don't judge, analyze, or label. It just knows. It was known as the single eye by bomb. It's not a real eye, but a state of quantum perception. Before reality collapses into a hard fact, your consciousness is tuning into the wave function of reality. I know this is how you feel when you walk into a room. You feel like something is wrong for no reason. You might meet someone who says all the right things, but you just know they're not telling the truth. That's the one eye. The frequency of a situation is being picked up by your quantum self, which can sense the truth beyond what it looks like in 3D. But why do most of us not have much of this sense? We learn to believe only what we can see and measure. The data and logic told us to believe them and not listen to our deepest intuition or quantum precognition. This intuition has always been our true guide. The surface is what your eyes see. The single eye can pick up on the quantum field below. This is the first thing told his followers to do. Take a moment to close your eyes. Now don't keep looking for answers. Just stop making noise in your head. It's not possible to see. Hold still for 10 seconds. 10 seconds in which you don't look, think, or expect anything. You just feel. Something comes out of that tiny bit of silence. It feels like nothing at first. That nothing is everything, though. All potential is in the field with a 0 point. In that stillness, the single eye comes to life. You break out of the mental static for a moment and realize that you are a vast, intelligent being. Why is this so important? Because as long as you use your logic to look for answers, all you will find are old ideas that have been used before. Things don't come to you as thoughts, though. When you start to feel with this direct quantum perception, they show up as clear, as if you knew everything right away and didn't need to say anything. However, this view is only the start. It's like letting air into a door. The light is coming in, but on the other side, there is something more. Because it's one thing to know the truth, it's another thing to live from it. This next step has something that no teacher, book, or video can teach you. It has to do with the unique quantum signature of your soul. Comment. I am tuning into my core frequency. If you can feel this inner truth, this will help you ground it in reality. Feel how this statement makes you feel. In a quantum sense, this is more than just a comment. It's a clear yes to the universe that you are ready. The great purification, frequency recalibration, to listen to the loud and unique signal of your soul. When you think about that memory, amazing things begin to happen. For the first time, you realize that you can see things other than your eyes. Thoughts that don't talk back or judge, analyze, or label. It knows for sure. Thoth called it the single eye. The eye is not real. It's a state of quantum perception. Your consciousness is tuning into the wave function of reality just before it collapses into a hard fact. I understand how you feel. You feel like something is wrong when you walk into a room for no reason. There are times when someone says nice things, but you know they're not telling the truth. That's the one eye. Your quantum self can pick up on the frequency of a situation and know the truth, even if it doesn't look like it in 3D. But why don't most of us have this sense? We learn to only trust what we can see and measure. Truth and reason told us to trust them instead of our deepest intuition or quantum precognition. We've always been able to trust our gut. What you see is the surface. The quantum field below can be picked up by the single eye. First, Thoth told those who follow him to do this. Close your eyes for a moment right now. Don't keep trying to find answers. Don't make noise in your head. It's not possible to see. Try to stay still for 10 seconds. You don't have to look, think, or expect anything for 10 seconds. You just feel that little bit of silence leads to something. At first it seems like nothing, but that nothing is everything. Any potential is in the field where there is no point. The single eye comes to life in that stillness. When you finally break out of the mental fog, you realize that you are a huge smart being. Why is this so important? If you only use logic to find answers, you will only come up with old ideas that have been used before. When you start to feel with this direct quantum perception, things don't come to you as thoughts. It looks like they are clear, like you already knew everything and didn't need to say anything. But this is just the beginning. It's like opening a door to let air in. There is more on the other side than just the light coming in. Since it's one thing to know the truth, it's a different thing to live off of it. You can't learn this next step from a teacher, a book, or a video. It has to do with the fact that your soul has its own unique quantum signature. Say, I am tuning into my core frequency. If you can feel this truth,